Hello, 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 and welcome. I wanted to give you a tour of a world that PV and I are working on. We have chosen to start a world on a free server at Server Pro, and it's actually quite nice. And I wanted to give you a look around to see what we've accomplished so far. For those of you who are interested, here's the seed number. It's quite lengthy. 695-612-378921-400-8808. Yeah, it's pretty long. The spawn point is right down here where you can see the platform, the wooden platform. And PV did the first build. He has built our our meeting hall is what he calls it. And I'm going to go into creative mode just so I can show you around easier. We are, so far the rules on here is we don't use creative mode to build. We do use creative mode to fly around from time to time, but that's about it. And I wanted to show off his roof. These are supposed to be like lightning rods. And this is something, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, a lot. And I've seen different variations of roofs, and I've never seen this. I'm not saying that no one's ever done it before, but I've never seen this. And when he did this, I thought it looked so neat and unique, and I really, really like it. And of course, I told him I plan to steal his idea soon. But I wanted to show that off. This is our meeting hall, and I will take you inside. I'm going to go out of creative mode for the moment because I don't want to accidentally break a block. Give you a look around. We have our entrance here. We have a nice large portrait, something pretty to see when you come in. This is the basically, this is where we have our boardroom. You know, if we were to have like a council or a board of directors or whatever, this is the conference room we're going into. And this is basically the break area, or snack area. And you go in here, and we have our large conference table. And this is a map of our world at this point. PV did that. He's in charge of maps. He's quite good with them, actually. And I rather like this conference table. I think he did a great job. Okay. And then you go up, and we have a seating area. We have a couple of seating areas here for groups or individuals, place to kick back and relax. We have a desk here, and this is our enchanting area. And of course, in our chests, we have enchanted books, we have our anvil, we have our lapis lazuli, and a desk over here looking out through the window. Then in here, we have 3 guest rooms, and they all go out onto the balcony. And they're the same. We have a chest and a bed in each one. And I keep saying we, but PV did this on his own. He did this quite well, I think. And but he's done all the work on it. Then we come down here, and we have our storage. We do not have our chests set up the way we want them quite yet, but we're working on it. Oh, excuse me. I had to sneeze. I tried to smother it. Hopefully I didn't sneeze in your ear. Sorry. But instead I decided to cough in your ear. Very rude. He did these insets for designs in the walls, which I quite like. And we have a brewing stand set up over here, and we have our smelter set up. And if you come through here, we have another storage room for overflow, because we agreed that we were not going to have, if you've seen any of our Metropolis map, the warehouse there is massive, and I forget how many chests. It's more than 450 single chests, but they're doubled up. So there's probably, it's actually more than 1,000 large chests easily in the warehouse on Metropolis. And we thought, we're not going to do that here. We're not going to go that big. We're going to combine some things in a chest, because it's just he and I. And even though we would like to have other people play on the server with us, right now we don't have anyone else playing, so we don't have a need for such massive storage. And then this door leads out back, and we'll look at that later. Get off there. And we come back down this hall, and as you can see, we use jack-o'-lanterns a lot for lighting. Of course, we do have some glowstone here, and for those of you who have not seen my other videos, I do use a lot of my videos are completely vanilla, but I saw a video that Wells Knight did. I watch his stuff pretty regular, and he has a series with his wife, and he was using a texture pack called Smooth Chocolate, and I really liked it. So it's the first texture pack I've ever messed with. It's the only texture pack I've ever messed with, and I love it because it kind of smooths out the look of Minecraft without changing everything. I mean, the variety is there for people to use, and Minecraft allows for individual tastes, but I like Minecraft as it is. And there are a lot of texture packs out there that they seem to change things so much that they don't even look like the original texture. And it's one thing to polish things up a bit, but for me it's too much. A lot of the texture packs they just go too far, but that's my personal taste. And the Smooth Chocolate texture pack, I find, fits my style, because it is it smooths things up, just like it says. It smooths things up, and it doesn't make things so different that it's unrecognizable. We have our mining shaft that comes down, and it leads off into different areas. We play on peaceful mode like 98% of the time, but every so often I will need bone meal, to do some landscaping and things of that nature. So we'll put it into combat mode and do some hunting. And we needed the blaze rods for the brewing stand, so of course we put it in combat mode and went to the nether. And we have our lonely little snowman here for our endless supply of snow, which I use for ceilings quite a bit, or in the build that I am in the work process of now. And then of course we have this area for branch mining. Come through here, and we have all these. And of course he leaves me nice little notes. Lava behind this cobble. So in other words, Lavella, don't mind this, because it's got lava behind it. It has lava. So we have our little branch mines here that go willy-nilly when we're getting low on diamond or something. And unlike the Metropolis map, this map is default settings on the resources. As you can see, if you've seen any of my stuff about Metropolis, the walls look like somebody took a package of melted Skittles and smeared them all over the place, because there's so much gold and diamond and lapis-lazuli and redstone that it's actually more plentiful than the cobble So, but this is a default setting. So the resources are typical of a default map. And through here, we have our nether portal. Our nether base is not very developed right now. We're basically doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it's slowly coming together. But this is where we will have our nether base whenever I get back to it. And somehow we got lucky enough that where our portal opened up, there is a bridge that takes us to another fortress, and it has multiple blaze spawners in a very small area. We got our butts whipped a few times, but it was quite fun. So anyway, this is the future site, the building site of our nether base. This brick tile here leads, it's over the lava lake. So you have to lavella proof stuff so I don't fall in. But we have these chests just full of smooth stone and brick and smooth stone brick slabs and things like that, so I can have my materials to build with. Because even if you are just using cobblestone, there are so many varieties of textures you can have with the cobblestone. Once you can have it raw, where it's all cobbled up. You can smelt it and make the smooth stone, and then from there you have all kinds of options. So the stone products tend to do the best in the nether against ghast attacks. So that's what we're going with. We will go back up here. And this is going to be the map room. As you can see, he has a catwalk around here. And what is going to happen over time, and this is PV's pet project, is this wall is probably going to be covered in item frames. And there will be maps. And the last discussion we had about the style is that we would have, say, a map hanging here that would be a rather large map showing a massive amount of ground. And then we would have different maps that were smaller but more zoomed in, a level 1 map. And they would be placed all together in a group showing the detailed map but in a larger view. So that's the plan at this time. Now, the way he and I come up with ideas so fast, that may change. But right now, that is the plan in effect. We will see what happens. So we're going to go outside and have a look. Oh, good, it's raining again. I really hate getting stuck in the door. Okay. Nope. There we go. All right, so I'm going to take you around here and show you this. I basically did a tree farm, and my Metropolis map is more, it's arranged more for practicality. It's the tree farms are like, there's a line of acacia, then there's a line of, what comes after acacia? Birch. And then there's a line of dark oak, and there's a line of, so each type of tree has a long row of it, and it looks quite uniform. But on this map, I told PV, I think I would like to focus more on, imagine you're taking a drive out in the country, and you look over and you're like, oh, look at the cows over there, and you drive along and maybe you see an orchard, and then you drive along and maybe you see a pasture full of horses, galloping or something, and or you drive along and you see a waterfall, or we do use teleport, and so this is not laid out necessarily to make everything easily accessible. We're trying to go more for the looks, and the tree farms are not finished. I'm going to be taking out these torches and putting in There's going to be some leaves buried in the ground in different places with glowstone or jack-o'-lanterns actually underneath them to provide light. But I want it to have a more natural look. So we're going to get rid of all these torches and use leaves to add some detail to the ground and bury the lighting underneath them. Then, of course, we have our birch over here. We have our oak over there. Acacia is down here. And we have the dark oak over here. And then over there we have jungle. So, and of course we started out with the spruce. So we have each type of tree in its own area. But, and it's quite a bit of wood. And it's not necessary. I didn't do exactly 10 or exactly 15. I just chose an area of land and said, okay, we're putting oaks here. And I started placing the oaks and I just kind of fit it to the land. So some of the trees may have 12, some may have 15, some may only have 10. It just depends on what fit. Then there was a water feature here already, and I changed up the shape a little bit. I lined it all with sand. I think the sand looks prettier than... I really don't like having cobblestone and, you know, coal and iron and gravel and granite and all that stuff in the bottom of the water. Excuse me. I know that it is natural to have rocks in the real world at the bottom of a water source, whether it be a lake or a pond or a river or whatever. But some things in Minecraft I try to keep realistic, and some things not so much. I prefer the sand, so sand is what I did. And if I had the time and my OCD was bad enough, I would probably go along every inch of the river throughout the map and replace the bottom with sand. That's just me. That's what I like. And this is not finished yet. This was here already, and at some point I'm going to pretty this up with some greenery and give it a little bit more shape so that it looks like a mountain with a natural waterfall. So we did add the water, but all in time. And we're using the jungle wood tree farm to raise our cocoa beans. So basically I would harvest this and then I'd just slap them on another trunk. So this horse is having a fit apparently. And as you can see, I have used quite a bit of bone meal in the different areas. If you've seen any of my videos, you know that the grass irritates me. I think it's ugly. With the smooth chocolate texture pack, it doesn't bother me quite as much. But I'm really not a big fan of the scraggly grass. But in this case, I felt it was necessary for the detail and to add some more texture to the area. So I do use it from time to time, even though you will hardly ever find it in a village that I have worked. Why is this open? If I worked a village, you're probably not going to find any scraggly grass. Okay, this is our pig sty, pig pen, and this is my idea of a mud hole. I'm sure I'm not the only person who has thought of this, but basically I used coarse dirt and brown clay, hardened clay, brown, for the mud. And this is where we have our piggies, and we have our hay around, and this is intended to be a water or a feed trough. And then of course we have water here, and this comes around, and they have some shade trees. And then inside is their shelter, and a lot of people use fence for windows, and I do too, but I found that I actually prefer to use gates. I like the way it has the slight opening at the bottom, and I feel it has a smoother look to it than just having the fence. So anyway, that's what I used, are the gates. And So each pen or stall has its own little feeder and water, and of course more jack-o'-lanterns for lighting. And I often hear YouTubers talk about how jack-o'-lanterns aren't used very often for lighting, but I actually use them a lot. And if you've seen very many of my videos, you'll know that, because pumpkins, once you get the pumpkin seeds and you get the pumpkin vines to grow and mature, pumpkins are really easy to get, much easier than glowstone. And even though glowstone gives off a stronger light source, jack-o'-lanterns are quite nice, and you can bury them. So to me, glowstone is really pretty in its raw form. And if I'm going to use glowstone, I really don't want to bury it under the ground. But you can use the jack-o'-lanterns, and of course you can use torches too, but torches have the smoke particles. So I prefer the jack-o'-lanterns. But anyway, that's my personal taste. And I especially love to bury the jack-o'-lanterns, like you probably noticed in the water feature. I like to bury them in the sand under the water, and at night it makes a really pretty glow around the sugar cane. Then over here is the carrots, which I think this looks pretty with all the green. And of course the lily pads give you a way to walk around without walking on your crops. And when you harvest, it'll bounce and you can pick it up and you don't have to be in the water. So, oops, looks like I busted out a lily pad when I was speed harvesting. I'll have to replace that. So, let's see where to next. This area is not quite developed yet. We are working on it. And as I said, we're not doing things for practicality so much as we're trying to pretty things up, basically. And this area where you see the grass is trying to grow back is going to be potatoes. And there are going to be tiers of plantings, but not to the extreme of the wheat that I will show you in just a moment. And this leads to a swamp biome, and then this eventually leads to a village. We'll go that way real quick. And as you can see, we have track laid down, and I carry a minecart with me. And even though we are using teleporting, we do teleport a lot. I like to just ride the railway a lot of times. It depends on what we're working on and how big of a hurry I'm in, or how far I'm going. If I'm going all the way back to the base, or if I'm just going to another area. And here's the village, and we are going, the plan, I say the plan because he may get a better idea, I may get a better idea, we may change it. But right now, the plan is that we're going to bring this road and railway down and take it through here and up so that it comes into the village this way. So, but this village needs to be worked up first. I don't like the gravel pathways. That'll be changed. The elevation for this village is wrong, in my opinion. I don't like the garden stuck way up here as it is. It's not conducive to the villagers working it. They might be working it, but they're more likely to work it if it's easier to access. This building, obviously, is not convenient. So that will be rebuilt down here on ground level. So anyway, this village needs some work, and it is on the list of to-dos. It is on the list of to-dos. So let's go back. But yeah, the focus here is, I don't know if you would call it terraforming, landscaping, what you would call it. But like I said, we can teleport to the other end of the map if we want to go gather wool. And we can teleport to another area for leather. It doesn't matter because we do use the teleporting. But I wanted this to, if you're like riding the carts or just walking along or riding your horse along the pathway, I wanted you to be able to have things to see that were attractive, that were pretty on each side of the road. And so that's our focus, is to have a beautiful landscape, basically. And we have, if you'll see, this track runs off this way. There's nothing at the end of this track yet. This is undeveloped. It is on the list of to-dos. It's a long to-do list, by the way. But we would like to have a way to switch the rails so that you can change direction. But everything that PV has researched, it requires a bunch of clunky building and redstone and all this kind of stuff, and I want it to be smooth, and I don't want a bunch of stuff cluttering this up. So we picked a main track to keep attached, and then the others you can always hop out of your minecart, use your pick, and then throw your minecart back down here and change directions. And that's, for now, until we can find a better system, that's what we're using. And this goes off here. This is a future build site for a residential area. And the plan at the moment is basically we are going to, if, like there's a house that I grew up in when I was, well, I didn't grow up in it. I was in it from the age of about 2 to age 9 or 10. And it's a ranch style house, and it's 2-bedroom, and so I'm going to use that as a floor plan for one of the houses. Now, the house that I built probably won't look exactly like that, but I am going to use that floor plan, and it's going to be from a house that I've actually lived in or I am familiar with. And so that's what we're going to do. This is all roof forest that has been excavated, and we're going to make a neighborhood. So, and he has another sugarcane farm down here because we need the paper for all of the maps that he's going to be making. And our melons and our pumpkins, as you see, are not in a typical, row of on the other side of irrigation. We're having them spill down the land on either side of the road. The melons will be extended at some point, but I don't know what PV wants to do with this area, so I don't want to mess up his terrain here at this time. So I'll wait until he does more with this before I decide how I want to expand the melons. The pumpkins, they keep kind of spreading and growing because we use so many jack-o'-lanterns. So we do use a lot of the pumpkins. And this map, if you've probably noticed, there are horses all over the place. All over the place. So, then over here, this is not going to be a permanent fixture, but, we may end up doing something with this permanently, but we have another site picked out near one of the villages where we're going to do a huge sheep pasture and do a barn and all those kind of things. So that maybe that particular village, the RP aspect would be that their biggest income would be from trading in wool, And then another village is going to have the cows. But we are probably going to have smaller temporary pens for each so that we can harvest the wool and the leather for things that we're working on. And of course there's the door that comes out from the storage room. This mess here is to mark off where we're going to have a huge horse pasture. This strip of dirt or grass that you see here is going to come on around here to this side. So from this area towards the road, that's going to be all horse pasture, and there's going to be stables. And so anyway, that's what that's for. Obviously it's on the to-do list. We have lots to do. This is our wheat farm, and again, it's for looks more than practicality, and it is still in progress. We're getting close to being finished, and basically what I'm doing is water will irrigate 4. So I have 4 and then a row of water. Then we go up a level, 4, row of water, go up a level, 4, row of water, so that from the road you just get this multi-level look of the wheat, and it's going to continue working its way up until we have reached the top of this area. So that way from the road you'll be able to see it from this road, you'll be able to see it from that road. It'll be quite visible, and that's a lot of really pretty color, I think, the gold wheat. Then over here, over here, this we intend to put like random bits of coarse dirt and random bits of vines and ferns and like tulips and different things like that, so that if you've ever seen like a flower forest where it has all the different kinds of flowers everywhere, basically these slopes will be covered in flowers. Not necessarily the pansies or the poppies and the dandelions, because we have plenty of those with the bone meal. But yeah, that's the plan for this. So again, we have all the color spilling over the landscape. Then over here, this red spillage is netherwort. So I think it looks quite pretty, and we will probably expand this. He harvested last night and he got like 3 stacks of netherwort. So anyway, it's really pretty from a distance, and there's enough of it that it's quite noticeable, and it also serves a practical purpose. But right now I'm going to go ahead and stop this video, and then I will pick up the recording. I'm trying really hard not to have my recordings be an hour and a half long, so it's probably already longer than it should be. And so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and we will return and continue our tour. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch my video. I really do appreciate it. If you want to do a like, that's awesome. If you want to subscribe, that's awesome. It just, having someone watch my videos, that's what makes me feel good. So the fact that you watched it is fantastic, and I thank you. We will see you later.